So I've got the pleasure of talking to psychologist Jo Hemmings today, and we're going to discuss how and why scent affects moods. So Jo, can you tell me a little bit about yourself first?
Okay, hello, nice to be here. So I'm a psychologist, behavioural psychologist. I work a lot in the media, behind the scenes on TV shows, sometimes actually on the screen, quite a lot on the radio, but I also have, I counsel clients mainly in relationships.
An exciting times today. You're talking to us, so thank you for that.
Yes, well,
Now, we know that different scents can cause different reactions for different people. Can you tell us a little bit about the science behind that?
okay, so the proper science, the sort of physiological science, is to do with your olfactory bulb, which is the part of your brain that enables us to process smells. And it's really close to something called the amygdala and the hippocampus. And those two bits of our brain process emotions, really. So when you get that triggered with a smell, you basically get a memory, or it evokes something that would influence your mood. Yeah.
Okay. So different notes can have different effects on our mood. Is there a reason for that then?
It's generally, it's something we associate with somebody or a place or a holiday or a period of our lives. It might be a season. So, for example, Christmassy smells, cinnamon, spice, wood, cedar, those sorts of things, oranges. If you've had good Christmases, it's a great feeling, but it's very seasonal. So we automatically associate certain senses with certain seasons, and in the same way with certain periods of our life or certain people in our lives.
Okay, good. So that's why you have that lovely smell that might remind you of your mum or an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, good or bad.
Yes, or just holidays, or just things. Yeah, I mean, quite often, we sort of tend to edit smell a bit, so it's unusual for us to actually smell something that makes us unhappy. Part of the process of filtering out bad memories is actually we're more likely to recall good memories, good things from smells, rather than bad things.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask you a few questions now. I'll give you some moods, and perhaps you could tell us what kind of scents would work to enhance those moods for us. So
Okay.
Firstly, if I wanted to uplift and boost my mood, what kind of scents might I want to look into?
So you want invigorating scents. You want something citrusy and lively and zesty. So orange, lime, bergamot, grapefruit. The things that are associated with energy are very often the things that will, uplift us and motivate us.
And that's why you get those ingredients in shower gels and,
Yeah. To wake
energizers.
you up in the morning, that smell of grapefruit, whatever it is. Yes, you
Yeah.
would never use it as a sort of nighttime ingredient of something. You would only really use it as a wake up ingredient. Yeah.
Okay, great. What about calming and relaxing? How would I best try and,
I'm going to cheat slightly here and look at a note or two. Yes, there it is. So it's things like chamomile, it's lavender, rosewood and berries of what I've put down. They're the calming ones. Sometimes it would be something like sandalwood as well, but generally it's a soothing smell, or it's something that reminds us to slow down and relax. Something we probably all very much need right now. So those are probably the scents to go for at the moment.
Okay, so spray those on your pillows or whatever.
Spray those on your pillows.
Okay.
Yeah. Or anywhere
about,
at any point at this moment.
what about enhancing concentration and focus for those of us that are having to work from home?
Okay, yeah, well, it's earthy, woody smells. We're back more to the essential oils here, so it's things like patchouli and sandalwood. It's enough to keep you calm and focused, but not enough to make you fall asleep. You don't want to be too calm when you've got to work, but you want peace and you want harmony. And actually, those kind of smells, those essential oils, used in moderation in a scent, are quite calming. They give you a sort of aura around you, and you can and also allow you to focus and not be distracted by what else might be going on.
Okay, great, thank you. And what about avoiding on the opposite side? What should we avoid for negative effects?
I mean, that's a very individual thing, because people, as I say, they associate certain smells generally with positive things in their lives. So there will be things that you don't want to smell because it has a poor memory for you. I would say avoid seasonal smells. Avoid the season we're not in. We're in spring, so we don't really want to be smelling the cloves and the cinnamon and the pine that we associate with wintry dark nights. We are going through a difficult time. Perhaps one of the plus points, it is spring, so we want something that we would associate with nature, but in a sort of blossoming way, rather than a beginning of a year way rather than an end of a year way.
Okay, great. And if we were going to kind of create the perfect recipe, if you like, to create an environment to get the best moods, what are some of the things that we could potentially do or use?
The thing, floral smells are always good, and by that I mean jasmine and lily and iris and geranium and things like that. Those sort of spring, like a bouquet, that sort of smell, combined with something that won't, because a lot of us are finding it hard to sleep at the moment, for example, or very fatigued after doing nothing. So you need to sort of zhuzh that up a bit, if you like, with something a bit citrusy, maybe bergamot in there, maybe basil.
Yeah.
Something that would sort of combine the floral. So imagine a bouquet with the leaves and the twigs still on. It's that holistic scent rather than just the straightforward floral scent.
Okay, great, thank you. And so what's your fail-safe mood boosting scent at the moment for yourself?
Well, I always go back to Prada d'Iris, it's called. So irises, I think, is the base note of that. And it's just like I've used for years. I think a lot of us go back to comforting scents that we're familiar with, particularly at a time like this. So while I have a selection of perfumes, that is the one I kind of return to at the moment, because I sort of feel that it is quite a reassuring and a lovely smell, but quite reassuring at the moment.
That's great. Thank you so much for that insight, Jo. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, and thank you again for all the information you've given us.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.